Bit of Bone Thugs, folks. This is Acid Roots, and we've got Bone Thugs, Thug World Order. Now, I'm certain you know what the play on words is for this album. It's New World Order. I don't necessarily know a ton about that, but it was probably a popular phrase. So, Bone Thugs is a rap group brought to us by Eazy-E, and most people would say their careers really kind of fell off the map after about 1999 or so. So there were a series of records, all of them, most of them put out solo records, and we just heard these guys. Essentially, what they are, they've got real psychedelic type music, which is why I'm reviewing them. But they also feel as if they'd rather kick it at the house more so than going out. So you're not going to hear Bone Thugs in the club records. They are more house party individuals. If you think back to the 90s, so, they're similar to Tupac. This is definitely someone who I feel like their style is an affiliate of, and they were actually on a song together. But these guys are just standard. I can't even think of the word, but there's real gangly. That's they they're just outgoing people who happen to chill at the house more. It's the only way I can sum them up. But can you smoke to this? Obviously, these guys are avid smokers, so there's going to be some records on here. This is just a real mellow album. I'll let you know that right off the bat. So, few songs would be If I Fall, All the Way, Get Up and Get It, and I guess What About Us. Now, keep in mind this album, I see it as 13 songs because there's a skit and an intro and then a 2-minute song, so that would make 13. Those are some ones to go for, the ones that I mentioned. And the production, really, I was not as impressed with the beats on this album as much as I could have been, and I found myself liking it just for the overall feeling, is because there isn't really the way that their style works. It's more kind of lazy type stuff, and it's just not in your face and alarming. So songs like Bad Weed Blues, What About Us, and Not My Baby, and Home. Some of these are just real. I don't have a problem with it. I'm not someone that needs to be excited to have music, but just the production doesn't jump out of the screen and get you infected. So we'll just go to the unheard songs, which are songs that you may not have heard that you need to check out. So I like 6 out of 13. Now, If I Fall is the best song on this album, far and away. Set It Straight's a creeper. Pump's the same way. Both of these kind of sound like you're moving out and about at dusk. All the Way is another smoking song. Bad Weed Blues is yet another one, even though it's about the opposite of that. And Get Up and Get It, that sounds like, vintage Bone Thugs. Usually they've got some, peacemaking type songs. So those are the 6, but there's actually 2 almost songs, which would make this 8 out of 13 instead of 6 out of 13. It's big difference that what 2 songs will do. One of these songs is Home, and it has Phil Collins on the hook. I'm guessing they sampled it. I don't know. I like this, but I do not like the production as much on it. It really feels like it's from a different continent. Most, you know, Africa seems the one that comes to mind for me. And I do like the hook, but this is way off kilter. I'm thinking I'll eventually like it, so I will probably boost the score because of it. And then What About Us? There's something about it that didn't feel. It felt like a really strange song. I don't know how to put a finger on it. So 7 out of 13. So I'll give this album a 6. I think 6.5 out of 10 because there's still, yeah, about 5 songs plus the almost song, so that's 6. And but I do recommend you try this. This is worthwhile. Bone Thugs may not be one of the ones that most people mention when they talk about Bone Thugs, but just the fact that you can find some hits on here shows that even when they slip, they're not doing horrid. So it's a good thing. This is a good way to prove to people that they don't suck, which is why I did it. So the future, I don't know what Bone Thugs has been up to. They said that they're gonna drop an album, but it's kind of up in the air. Is this album social? I will give it a 6 social just because they did release radio songs from this album and most people know who they are, but just besides the crossroads, it's gonna be your choice. Every person's different with how they like them. Some people like newer, older, certain songs, radio songs. So it's just a lot of directions to go with it. But, the thing is that most people do like them. So can it be topped? Yes. But this is kind of like a draw for them. It's kind of not a huge loss, not a huge win. But alright, subscribe for more fun. Give this album a 6 and a 6 social. 6.5 and a 6 social.